Hello, thank you for joining us in Control's Kitchen today. This is episode 2. Tonight we're going to be making essentially it's like a Mexican pizza but with chorizo and bacon on it, and it's going to be breakfast style, so we're going to have scrambled eggs and all that, just something that I came up with randomly. So anyway, for that obviously, for the shell we're going to use flour tortillas. We're going to fry the whole thing, turn it into a giant shell essentially, a can of refried beans, hash browns of your choice. I'm just using some pre-cut ones because I had them in the freezer. I'm just going to take advantage of them. Chorizo, any brand that you prefer. We're using a local brand here, and then we got some bacon, and for this we're using pepper bacon, which is fantastic. And we're going to need also a whole onion, and if you want avocado on top, if you're a fan of it, you can use avocado. Alright, now the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to dice up our onion. And I'll show you guys a little trick that I like to use. I call this Mickey Mousing the onion. I don't know if it's patented or anything, so I apologize, Disney, if it is. But essentially what I'll do is I'll cut both ends to where there's just a sliver, and if you look at it, it kind of looks like a mouse. Kind of like Mickey Mouse's head. But anyway, I do that so this last layer of onion comes right off. Makes the peeling process incredibly simple. Alright, now that our onion is nice and peeled, what I do is I cut the onion in half, and we're going to set half of that aside for now. And the way that I like to dice is that I will start off just making some, about however thick you want the slices, the squares on your dicing to be. Rotate it sideways, and then I like to just kind of go like this. And then when it gets a little too short, I just kind of flip it. And then with this half, what we're going to do with it, we're going to put it in a pan with oil and the potatoes, and they're going to get mixed into the hash brown. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get the pan with oil started. So what I like to do is I don't really ever measure anything. Kind of just eyeball it one just enough to cover the bottom of the pan for what we're doing, since we're just sauteing onions and potatoes right now. Just enough to cover the bottom, and I like to do like a medium-high heat typically. At which point we're going to go back to the onion that we just cut up. We're going to throw it into the oil, and then we're going to also throw our hash browns into it as well. I normally would use fresh hash browns, but as I explained earlier, I had these in the freezer, and just for time's sake, it is kind of late. I'm just doing the pre-cut. Alright, now that we got those potatoes and onions going, we can go ahead and dice up the other half of the onion, because what we're going to do is we can put this on top of the toast salad if you desire that extra kind of oniony taste. Since the flavors kind of all mix together when you pick the onions with other food. But alright, and then we're going to go ahead and get our chorizo started as well. So we're going to grab another pan and get that going. And then we're also going to grab a small pot and do the refried beans. Alright, as you can see, we got our chorizo going in the pan. I'll start cutting that up here in a minute. And what I like to do with my refried beans is I add a little bit of milk, and it actually makes them a lot creamier. And then I just eyeball it. Alright, so we preheated the oven for 400 degrees because the way that we do our bacon is we like to bake it. So what we do is we wrap our pan in tin foil here, and then it collects all the grease, and then we throw it into a jar and save it because that shit is liquid gold. Flavor enhancer. I'm sure we'll use that in some video in the future. So for this, we're just going to grab, what do you think, 6?
Yeah.
6 strips of bacon. And we're going to throw that into the oven for about 15 minutes. Alright, here we are. And as you can tell, the chorizo looks like it is done. Our potatoes are pretty much done. So what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to mix the chorizo in with the potatoes and onions. And then what we're going to do is, using this exact same pan, we're going to actually fry up some eggs. I forgot to mention the eggs earlier. I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just take 4 standard eggs here, scramble them up. And of course you gotta get a little shell in there. You gotta get a little shell in there. Add some crunch. Alright, anyway. I like to, my general rule of thumb is like 2 eggs per person. So since it's just me and my wife eating, just doing the 4 right now. Of course, wash the hands after that. Alright. And just grab a kitchen fork and kind of whisk it up. You can add any seasonings that you prefer into this, but since it's already getting a ton of flavor, we're not going to do that today. But yeah, now that we got our scrambled egg mixture, we'll go ahead in that pan, throw it down. Alright, and it sounds like our bacon's ready. Alright, now that we have pulled the bacon out of the oven, it has had a little bit of time to cool. I'm going to take advantage of it and I'm going to save that bacon grease. So as I said, you can use this stuff as a liquid enhancer. You can even throw it in some green beans. Anything you really, really want to. Excuse our daughter. No, she's fine. Alright, I got it on the cutting board here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up into slices. Or not slices. Yeah, I guess you can call this slices. All right. Okay, and then as you can see, we have our scrambled eggs right there, our chorizo, potato and onion mixture, and our bacon. Now all that we have left to do is the tortilla shells. And those honestly take the least amount of time out of everything, which is why we're doing it last. Alright, and to fry the tortillas, all I like to do is I like to do maybe about I don't even know, a 1/4 inch. I just like to make sure that there's enough oil in the pan for the tortilla to kind of float. And what we're going to do there is we're actually going to heat it to about 350 degrees before we actually drop anything in it to fry it. I have a meat thermometer for that exact purpose, so we will check back in with you when that's done. Alright, now that we have our oil here to temperature, so we're just going to drop the whole tortilla in. You start to see the edges start to boil. There's a bubble a little bit. And what I like to do, we could just use one of the spatulas we use for cooking earlier. I like to kind of push it down into the oil. That way it kind of cooks evenly. And it's going to just probably take maybe like no more than a minute on each side until it's golden brown. Alright, as you can see, we've got our golden tortillas on both sides here. Alright, so now we are finally at the assembly. Say finally like it took forever and it really did, I swear. Alright, so we're going to start off with the refried beans. I like to essentially, just you want to do a thick layer pretty much all around. It's essentially just a giant tostado, but with breakfast ingredients. So I like to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and do a layer of our chorizo, potato, and onion. As I said in the last video, we've got to make a mess. We've got to make a mess. You're not cooking right if you don't make a mess. Okay. Gonna go in with some bacon. Some of the bacon that we cut up earlier. Throw it on top there. Decent amount. Go into the eggs. Just to give it a little bit of color. And then you can go ahead and top it with any sauces you desire, like any hot sauce or whatever you want. Like I'm probably going to do some sour cream and some sriracha. Or even we have a jalapeno sauce that we like to use. Alright, and here we are, found the product right here. So we got the one with avocado and the one without avocado. This one's mine, that one's hers. But yeah. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, repost, all that fun stuff. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.